Before you skip this, pause for a moment, take a breath, and, before anything else, tell me something quietly in the comments. Which country are you listening from right now? And what time is it where you are? Because it matters. This message is finding people in very specific moments. If peace has quietly left your heart, if you're listening to this while the world feels heavy, if your heart feels tired in a way sleep doesn't fix, this is not random. You didn't click this by accident. There was a time when your heart felt calm. Not perfect, but steady. You could sit alone and still feel okay. But now, even when life looks normal, something inside feels unsettled. You pray, but your heart feels distant. You sit with people, but you feel alone. You try to distract yourself, yet the heaviness keeps returning. And you keep asking yourself quietly, what is happening to me? Listen carefully. Allah does not disturb a heart without reason. That discomfort you feel, that restlessness, that quiet heaviness in your chest, it is not weakness, it is guidance. Most people ignore this moment. They numb it. They distract themselves. They force themselves to stay where they are. And later, they break. But Allah is giving you the warning. Before the damage. And if you leave now, you may miss what Allah is trying to protect you from. So, stay with me, because what I'm about to share may explain everything you've been feeling, but couldn't put into words. Sometimes, Allah removes peace, not to punish you, but to pull you out before it's too late. Sometimes the hardest thing to understand in life is this: Allah can be saving you while it feels like you are losing everything. When peace leaves your heart, the mind panics. You start asking questions. What did I do wrong? Why do I feel like this? Why am I not happy anymore? Why does nothing feel right? But Allah does not work the way people work. People remove you suddenly. People hurt without warning. People abandon without explanation. Allah is not like that. Allah is gentle with the heart. When something is no longer good for you, He does not rip it away in one moment. He prepares you first, and the first thing He touches is your peace. You may not notice it at the beginning. At first, it feels small. You just feel slightly uncomfortable, slightly tired, slightly disconnected. You tell yourself, maybe I'm just overthinking. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe it's nothing. But it keeps coming back. You sit in the same place you've always sat in, but your heart doesn't rest the way it used to. You talk to the same people, but something feels off after the conversation ends. You follow the same routine, but your soul feels empty while doing it, and you don't understand why. This is where most people make a mistake. They think something is wrong with them, but very often, nothing is wrong with you. Something is wrong with what you're holding on to. Allah sees the damage forming long before you feel the pain. He sees how this place is slowly draining your spirit. He sees how this relationship is slowly shrinking your heart. He sees how this path is quietly pulling you away from who you're meant to become. But instead of destroying it loudly, Allah warns you softly. He removes peace, not suddenly, not harshly, gently. So gently that only a sincere heart will notice. Your heart starts resisting, not because you became ungrateful, not because you became weak, but because your soul has limits. Allah did not create your heart to survive everywhere. Allah did not create your soul to tolerate everything. Some environments slowly poison the heart, even if nothing looks wrong from the outside. You can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. You can be busy all day and still feel empty. You can be smiling and still feel heavy inside. That heaviness is not random. It is your soul saying, I cannot stay here much longer. And Allah is listening. So He removes peace before the damage becomes permanent. He removes peace before you lose yourself completely. He removes peace before your heart becomes numb. This is mercy. But many people misunderstand mercy because mercy doesn't always feel comfortable. We think mercy feels good all the time. We think protection looks soft and easy. But sometimes protection feels like discomfort. Sometimes mercy feels like restlessness. Sometimes love feels like unease. Allah does not want you to stay in places that require you to silence your soul. So He makes the heart uncomfortable enough that you finally start asking questions. You start reflecting, why do I feel drained here? Why am I not myself anymore? Why does my heart feel tight every time I stay? And slowly, awareness begins. This is why Allah removes peace first. Because if He removed the situation suddenly, your heart would not understand. You would run back to it. You would beg for it. You would blame Allah for taking it away. So Allah teaches the heart first. He lets you feel the truth before you see it. Your heart learns before your eyes do. That is why, even when nothing has ended yet, you already feel detached. You're still there physically, but emotionally, you've started leaving. This is Allah preparing you. Because leaving with awareness is less painful than leaving through destruction. Allah would rather wake your heart than break your life. He would rather disturb your peace than destroy your soul. Many people stay too long because they still feel comfortable. Allah does not allow His servants to stay comfortable in places that will ruin them later. So, He removes comfort, and the heart begins to resist. You try to convince yourself to stay. You remind yourself of memories. You tell yourself it's not that bad. But peace does not return, because Allah does not lie to the heart. If something was meant to keep you, peace would stay. If something was meant to grow you, your soul would feel safe there. When peace leaves, it is a sign that Allah has already decided. This cannot continue forever. And this is where faith is tested. Do you listen to the heart Allah is guiding, or do you silence it to stay comfortable? Many people ignore the warning. They numb themselves. They distract themselves. They force themselves to stay. And later, the pain becomes louder. But Allah tried to save them early, through peace. If you are feeling this right now, know this: you are not broken. You are not ungrateful. You are not losing faith. You are waking up. Allah is gently pulling you away from something your soul can no longer survive in, and He is doing it with mercy. Sometimes the most painful change is not losing people, not losing places, not losing situations. The most painful change is realizing you are no longer the same person who could stay there. Nothing around you looks different, yet everything inside you has changed. You wake up one day and notice your heart does not respond the way it used to. Things that once excited you now feel empty. Conversations that once made you feel alive now feel heavy. Places that once felt familiar now feel strange. And this confuses you. You start asking yourself, what happened to me? Why am I not enjoying this anymore? Why do I feel disconnected from my own life? But this is not loss. This is growth. Allah changes the heart quietly. He does not announce it. He does not warn you loudly. One day, you simply realize your soul has matured. You see things differently now. You feel things more deeply now. You cannot tolerate emptiness the way you once did. And the old life cannot hold the new heart. This is why peace leaves. Not because the place became evil, not because the people became bad, but because you became different. Allah does not upgrade the soul and leave it trapped in an old version of life. When the heart grows, comfort disappears. You begin to feel restless, not because you are ungrateful, but because your soul is asking for more meaning, more honesty, more depth, more truth. Things that once satisfied you now feel shallow, and this scares people, because growth feels like losing yourself at first. You feel unfamiliar even to your own mind. You look at your old habits and think, why doesn't this work for me anymore? You look at old dreams and think, why do they feel small now? This is Allah expanding your heart. But expansion is uncomfortable. A heart that is growing cannot stay relaxed in small spaces. So, Allah removes peace, not to punish you, but to push you forward. You are no longer meant to survive on distractions. You are no longer meant to stay where your soul is starving. And Allah knows, if He leaves you comfortable, you will stay too long. So He lets discomfort enter. You try to go back to your old self. You try to force yourself to feel the same joy. You try to pretend nothing has changed. But it doesn't work, because Allah has already moved your heart forward, and you cannot unsee what you now see. You cannot unknow what you now know. You cannot shrink the soul after Allah expands it. This is why staying feels exhausting. You are not tired because life is hard. You are tired because you are living below your spiritual capacity. You are carrying a heart that wants more sincerity, more alignment, more truth. But you are surrounding it with things that no longer match. So peace leaves, and you begin to feel lost. But you are not lost. You are in between versions, between who you were and who Allah is shaping you to become. This in-between phase feels lonely. People don't recognize you anymore, and sometimes you don't recognize yourself. But Allah does. He knows this version of you cannot stay where the old version lived. So He gently pushes you out, through discomfort, through restlessness, through emotional distance. This is not rejection. This is elevation. Allah is removing you from places that no longer match your soul's weight, because where you are going next requires a stronger heart, a quieter heart, a wiser heart, and the old environment would only slow you down. So if peace left your heart and you don't understand why, ask yourself gently, have I outgrown this? Most of the time, the answer is already inside you, and Allah is just helping you accept it. There are moments in life when nothing is clearly wrong, yet nothing feels right. You are not being harmed openly. No one is shouting at you. Nothing has collapsed completely, and still, your heart feels tired. This is where many people get confused. They say, if it's not clearly bad, why do I feel like this? If it hasn't ended, why does my heart feel closed? If Allah wanted me to leave, why hasn't He made it obvious? But Allah does not always close doors with noise. Sometimes He closes them with silence. Sometimes He closes them with heaviness. Sometimes He closes them by taking peace away. You keep trying to make it work. You explain it to yourself again and again. You remind yourself of the good moments. You tell yourself to be patient. You tell yourself not to give up. But every time you push forward, your heart pulls back. And that pulling back is not weakness. It is mercy. Allah knows something you do not. He knows that if this door stayed open, it would cost you your peace, your dignity, your closeness to Him. So He closes it gently, not with disaster, not with humiliation, but with discomfort. You sit there, but your heart is not present. You try to feel hopeful, but something blocks it. You pray for ease, but the ease does not come there. That is not because Allah is distant. It is because Allah is protecting you. Some doors look good from the outside, but destroy the soul slowly. Some opportunities excite the ego, but empty the heart. Some connections feel familiar, but quietly weaken your faith. Allah does not allow His servant to be destroyed slowly, just because they refuse to let go. So when you keep forcing what Allah has already closed, He removes peace, not to punish you, but to stop you. Because if peace stayed, you would stay. And Allah knows you would stay too long. This is why forcing feels exhausting. You are not tired because you are doing too much. You are tired because you are pushing against divine guidance. You are trying to reopen a door Allah closed with mercy. And the heart knows. That is why it resists. You may still love the idea of it. You may still miss the feeling of it. You may still hope it will change. But the heart feels heavy, because Allah already decided it will not continue. And Allah is kind. He does not embarrass you by dragging you out publicly. He does not break you to make you leave. He removes peace quietly. So you leave with awareness, not regret. So you walk away with dignity, not trauma. So later, when you look back, you say, Allah saved me before it destroyed me. Many people only understand this years later. They look back and realize the discomfort was the warning. The heaviness was the sign. The restlessness was guidance. But at the time, they thought it was confusion. No, it was clarity in a soft form. Allah closes doors gently for hearts that are sincere. If your heart is still being guided, Allah will not let you walk into harm comfortably. He will make the path feel wrong, even if it looks right. And when you finally stop forcing, something strange happens. The heart breathes again, not immediately happy, not instantly joyful, but lighter, because you are no longer fighting Allah's protection. Letting go does not mean you failed. It means you trusted Allah more than your own attachment. It means you chose long-term peace over short-term comfort. And Allah never disappoints a heart that lets go for His sake. So, if you feel tired from trying to make something work, if you feel drained from pushing where peace refuses to return, if your heart keeps resisting no matter how hard you try, pause. That resistance may be Allah saying, this is not where your story continues. And that is not the end. That is the turning point. There is a kind of restlessness that does not come from the body. You are not physically tired. You may even be resting. You may be sleeping. You may be surrounded by people. And still, your heart feels unsettled. You feel distracted in prayer. You feel heavy after worship instead of light. You scroll. You talk. You keep yourself busy, but the quiet always comes back. This confuses many people. They say, I pray. Why do I still feel like this? I remember Allah. Why is my heart still restless? I am trying. Why do I feel far? But this restlessness is not distance. It is a call. Allah does not always call His servants with ease. Sometimes He calls them by disturbing the noise around their heart. Because when the heart becomes too attached to the world, too comfortable with distraction, too busy to feel, Allah removes calm, so the heart can finally hear Him. Many people think closeness to Allah means constant peace, but before peace comes honesty, and honesty often feels uncomfortable. Allah wants your full attention, not rushed prayers, not empty words, not worship done only with the body. So He unsettles the heart, not to push you away, but to pull you closer. You feel restless because your soul wants something deeper, not more things, not more people, not more noise. It wants sincerity. It wants quiet connection. It wants truth between you and Allah. This is why distractions stop working. Things that once helped you escape the feeling no longer help. Entertainment feels empty. Talking feels tiring. Even sleep doesn't fully rest you. And in that silence, Allah waits. Not demanding, not angry, waiting. Waiting for you to stop running from the feeling and sit with Him. Many people misunderstand this moment. They think something is wrong with their faith, but often this restlessness appears when Allah wants to deepen your faith. He wants you to stop praying on autopilot. He wants you to stop making dua without presence. He wants your heart, not just your routine. So He makes the heart uncomfortable until it turns inward. You start questioning yourself. Why do I feel empty? Why does my heart feel dry? Why am I not satisfied anymore? And those questions lead you back to Allah. Not the Allah you mention quickly, but the Allah you sit with quietly. The Allah you speak to honestly. The Allah you cry to without rehearsed words. This restlessness is Allah saying, "Come closer," not louder, not faster, closer. Closer in sincerity, closer in trust, closer in presence. When you finally stop fighting the feeling and allow yourself to turn fully to Allah, something shifts. You may not feel instant happiness, but you feel real. You feel grounded. You feel seen. Because Allah was never asking for perfection. He was asking for attention. This is why restlessness often comes before spiritual clarity. Allah shakes the heart gently, so it wakes up, so it stops surviving on surface-level faith, so it seeks depth. And when the heart finally returns, not just in prayer, but in reliance, the restlessness begins to soften, not because life became easy, but because the heart is finally aligned. So, if you feel restless right now, if nothing seems to calm your heart, if even good things don't satisfy you, do not panic. This may be Allah inviting you into a deeper relationship with Him, one that cannot be built on distractions, one that cannot be rushed, one that requires honesty. Sit with Allah. Even if all you can say is, "My heart feels unsettled," that is enough, because Allah listens, especially when the heart is open. Not every peace is real peace. Some peace is just silence. Some peace is just routine. Some peace is just getting used to pain. Many people think peace means nothing is changing, nothing is exploding, nothing is clearly wrong. But Allah knows the difference between peace that heals and peace that slowly kills the soul. There are times when you feel calm only because you stopped expecting better. You stopped speaking up. You stopped hoping deeply. You stopped listening to your heart. You told yourself, "This is fine. This is normal. This is just life." But inside, something was fading. That kind of peace is not from Allah. It is survival. Some peace comes from avoiding conflict. You stay quiet so things don't get worse. You accept less so you don't feel alone. You stay because leaving feels scary. That is not peace. That is fear wearing a calm face. Allah does not want His servants to live in fear disguised as comfort. He does not want you to stay somewhere just because it feels familiar. So when you settle for false peace, Allah removes it. Slowly, gently, you begin to feel uneasy, even though nothing changed. You feel empty, even though life looks stable. You feel tired, even though you are not doing much. This is Allah exposing the truth. He is showing you that what you called peace was actually you shrinking yourself. Real peace does not require you to disappear. Real peace does not silence your soul. Real peace does not cost you your dignity. Allah removes false peace because it blocks real peace from entering. As long as you are comfortable in something half dead, you will never search for something alive. So Allah shakes the heart. He removes the calm you created for yourself, so you stop lying to your own soul. This is why, after peace leaves, you feel confused. You say, "But nothing bad happened. But I should be grateful. But others have it worse." Allah is not comparing your pain to anyone else's pain. He is protecting your heart. Allah wants to give you a peace that does not depend on people staying. A peace that does not collapse when plans change. A peace that remains even in uncertainty. But first, He has to remove the fake one, the one built on tolerance, not truth. The one built on fear, not faith. The one built on staying quiet, not being aligned. This process feels uncomfortable because you are losing something familiar. Even false peace feels safe when you've lived with it long enough. So when Allah removes it, the heart panics. You want to go back. You want things to feel normal again. But Allah knows that normal was slowly destroying you. So He does not let peace return there. Instead, He leads you forward. And forward always feels uncertain at first. But later, you understand. You realize that the new peace Allah gives is quieter, stronger, and deeper. It does not scream happiness. It does not depend on anyone's approval. It feels like clarity. It feels like alignment. It feels like breathing again. That peace comes only after letting go of the old one. So if peace left your heart and you feel exposed, confused, unsettled, ask yourself gently, was I truly at peace, or was I just surviving? Most of the time, the heart already knows the answer, and Allah is simply guiding you toward something real. One day, without warning, something inside you will feel different, not loud, not dramatic, just lighter. You will wake up and notice. Your chest does not feel as tight as it used to. Your thoughts feel quieter. Your heart feels steadier. You are not rushing to fix everything anymore. And in that moment, you will realize something important. Peace did not disappear forever. It was only waiting for you to stop fighting Allah, waiting for you to stop forcing what was draining you, waiting for you to let go of what your heart had already outgrown. At first, when peace left, you were confused. You thought something had gone wrong. You thought you were losing yourself. But now you understand. If peace had stayed back, then you would have stayed too. You would have stayed in places that kept you small. You would have stayed with people who could not carry your growth. You would have stayed on paths that led nowhere. Allah knew this, so He removed peace to move you, not because He wanted to hurt you, but because He wanted to prepare you. Preparation never feels comfortable. Growth always asks something from you. It asks you to release what you love before it gives you what you need. And when you finally let go, not angrily, not bitterly, but with trust, something shifts. You stop begging life to feel the same again. You stop chasing the past. You stop asking, why did this happen? Instead, you begin to see. You see how Allah protected you quietly. You see how He saved you before things broke completely. You see how He gave you awareness instead of trauma. And that understanding brings peace back. Not the old peace. Not the fragile peace that depended on people staying. Not the temporary peace that vanished when things changed. This new peace is different. It is calm without being lazy. It is strong without being loud. It is steady even when life is uncertain. It feels like trust. Trust that Allah sees what you cannot see. Trust that what left was not meant to last. Trust that what is coming will match the heart you have now. This peace does not rush happiness. It does not demand answers. It simply settles. You find yourself breathing more deeply. You find yourself reacting less. You find yourself no longer needing to explain your choices to everyone, because you know Allah led you here. And this is why the pain had meaning. This is why the restlessness mattered. This is why peace had to leave first. Allah was not destroying your life. He was rearranging it. He was removing what could not grow with you, so He could give you what would. And now, when peace returns, it stays longer, because it is built on surrender, not attachment, on clarity, not confusion, on faith, not fear. You may still face challenges. Life may still test you, but your heart is no longer fighting reality. It is aligned with Allah, and alignment brings a peace that cannot be shaken easily. So, if you are still in the phase where peace has not returned yet, be patient. Do not rush the process. Do not run back to what drained you. Do not doubt Allah's wisdom. Peace is not gone. It is being rebuilt inside a stronger version of you, a version that will not settle for less, a version that listens when Allah guides, a version that knows when to walk away and when to trust. And when that peace finally settles fully, you will look back and say quietly, Allah knew exactly what He was doing, and your heart will rest. Before you leave, sit with this for a moment. If peace left your heart, it was never to break you. It was to move you. Allah did not disturb your heart because He was displeased with you. He disturbed it because He was protecting you. Every tear you hid, every night you stayed quiet, every moment you felt lost without knowing why, Allah saw it all. Nothing was wasted. The confusion had meaning. The restlessness had purpose. The silence was guidance. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being led. Even if the path feels unclear right now, trust this. Allah never removes something without preparing something better. And when peace returns, and it will not feel fragile like before. It will feel steady. It will feel safe. It will feel earned. So, if this message touched your heart, whisper a quiet Alhamdulillah. And if you're comfortable, leave a small comment below, not for the algorithm, but as a sign to yourself that you're still listening. May Allah replace your confusion with clarity, your heaviness with calm, and your loss with something that finally feels right. Your heart is in His hands, and that is the safest place it could ever be. Amen.